So as we breathe together, as one, and we think of solstice, the awareness of the changing of the seasons from darkness to light. We're aware that that happens in our bodies daily. When we rest at night, we go deep into the darkness, the stillness, the silence. We awaken the next day and spring forward, move into our activities, and then come closer to the fall, and then come closer to the winter. So our daily cycle is the same as the seasons. So the light of life, the light of life. In the absolute stillness, in the absolute quiet. In the space where the exhale ends. We're reminded of our center. And the center never shifts or moves. Before we were born, we were centered. Centered in life. Because life does not have an opposite called death. It is a continuum. So we are always centered in life. And from this centering, we agreed to connect to the extension of life, which is Mother Earth. And because we are not separate, we communicated. And from this centered awareness, we were not afraid of the cycles of light and dark. It isn't polarities. Light doesn't say, I dissipate all you darkness. And darkness could say, but light, who could see you if I were not there for you to express in? So there are no polarities. There is only the interweaving of both and all. And you're a part of that. And we begin in winter. And in winter, Earth celebrates. She says, hunker down. Come to home. Begin to seed. For your potential comes from that seed. And she doesn't mean potential as, maybe you won't live up to your potential. She laughs at that. Because your potential is a guarantee. It is built into your DNA. So she celebrates all the potentials that you bring and fulfill. Potential was not meant to mean you may or may not, but is what you choose to be, which is absolutely perfect. And the light that you are, she greets. And the light that you are, from this centered space of possibilities, enters the mother's womb so that you are reminded that you are absolutely safe. Even as it feels like you're dissipating into this different form, you are everything connected to all things. You didn't hear voices because you had no ears, but you felt everything. No one died because you felt them right beside you. And you were moving from formlessness into form, where you would become a human with the ability to hear and feel and touch and see. And a part of you would forget for a little while that just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. And as you entered your mother's womb, it embraced you. And as you entered the earth's atmosphere, she embraced you. And as your mother's feet touched the ground, the earth kissed her feet and said, "Welcome, welcome home." And you were nervous because when you would come out of that womb, you would enter the chaos of the world. And how would you handle it? And the earth said, "Center. Remember, you are centered. Remember that you are no different in form than you are as formless. You're always centered. You're always the silence. You're always the stillness. Because stillness is not about movement. Stillness is the undercurrent vibration that you are. Do not fear. And you listened to your mother's heartbeat, and it kept you in that stillness and that rhythm. And then you entered into a being that felt like it was separating from all of its formless space where it was so safe and so warm. You had been wintering there, and out you came as the light of the world. And when you were held, your eyes gave that light, and people wanted to hold you and look at you. And Mother Earth rushed into your lungs with air and said, "Breathe in and be aware that you are life. You are not separate from life. You did not die, you just came into a new being." And you breathed in all the love and the life, and you joined it. And you were centered, and you were still, and you were light. And as you grew, your mind began to be filled with thoughts. And these thoughts were like new toys. And as you entered a thought, it had a feeling. And some things felt great, and some things didn't feel so good. And this was new. And a little piece of you shifted from centered. Not you as a being. You are still centered. You are still stillness itself. But your focus shifted to a thought. And it filled the whole picture. And it filled your mind. And it was interesting and different. Sometimes it could be scary. Sometimes it could be rude. It just had all these different feelings. But never were you uncentered. Only your focus had changed. And that is also like winter moving to spring. So our thoughts are no more scary than the dawning of a day and no more scary than the shift of a season. And you looked at the thought and you became the thought, and you thought you were the thought. And that became chaotic and frustrating. It was full of fear. What about this? Will I die? Will I dissipate? Am I loved? And the earth said, darling, you never left my womb. You're still right here. And I'm loving you. And the universe said, you never left the universe. You're still right here. It's all okay. You're just recentering in a different environment. And it teaches you to recenter in the midst of your thinking, so that as you are with family or friends, and there's so much chatter going on, you can listen to it as a sound versus embody it as a thought. You can listen to all the conversation around you and pull back into your center. Let your focus be from that centered space, even as you listen to my voice. You're feeling your center, and my voice just becomes a sound as you are still, silent, light. And your focus is that light. What do you want to shine it on? Do you want to shine it on the words that someone's saying to you? Or do you want to shine it on the environment and share life, love, the awareness that you're all still within the same womb, that no one's separated, no one's gone. Only the thought considers someone a memory. Only a thought is separate from center. You are centered. You are still. You are here with a light of attention. And let your attention be on love, not on the sounds or the thoughts so much. You hear their voices. You hear their laughter. You hear their sadness. You hear their joy. And you feel them deeply in your center. And you express love through all the cracks that came from the wounds. And you express it through your eyes, that you are participating in life as it is presenting now. Then for the time that you're with them, you kiss their hands and you say nothing, and you hear their voices, but you don't listen to the words of intimidation or sadness, because you're sitting in the light of love for them, the centered space that isn't chaotic. And when your time comes to pass, you tell them not to cry, because you're only moving to a different perspective. You're still here. You're still loving them. You may not hear my voice anymore, but I'm still here. I love you. And even as I am in that space where you don't see me anymore, I learned how to love you in the midst of all the chaos, and I'm still here. And still, the earth holds you within her womb as it extends beyond the atmosphere. And you went nowhere, but stayed centered the whole time. And you're centered now in the universe, loving and lighting and focusing the light of love on everything you've ever met or touched. All is well. There's nothing to fear. You're always centered here. then that which you seek, the stillness, the silence, the peace, is who you are. And you will not and cannot be separated from it, no matter what things look like, because it is the existence of who you are. And in winter, we hunker down into this space, and always springing forth that light of love. You are love. Realizing that we are always centered through life, through death, through it all. The continuous vibration of I am.